So this is boss 1, Yandir the Butcher hard mode. The only real difference between this and non-hard mode is the addition of the fire shamans. We're going to play safe strats for this boss. So to start with, we're going to stack the main boss, Yandir the Butcher, with the fire shaman. The off tank's going to stack the sea adder, and we're going to hold them all together for a small period of time. Everyone in the group focuses the main boss and cleaves the shaman and the sea adder. As soon as the main boss heals the sea adder, we pull the main boss away and we go and stand in the next shaman location. There's only really 3 main attacks to look out for from the main boss. There is the light attacks, which you should block because they hit quite hard, even with block hitting around 8k. And then you've got the heavy attack, which is quite a long charged heavy attack. And then finally you've got the charged cleave attack, where he holds his weapon behind his head. As soon as he is about to pull it forward, that is the cleave, and you should dodge roll backwards to avoid that. Make sure there's no one stood behind you, and don't dodge roll side to side because it can end up cleaving some of your group. As mentioned previously, the only major difference between this and the non-hard mode is the addition of the fire shamans, and they will always spawn in 4 locations. There is one where the group starts the fight, then one over to the left, one opposite where the fight starts, and then one on the entrance. They will always spawn in those 4 locations, and they will always spawn in the same order. So from the starting position, the next one will always spawn towards the exit on the left side, and they'll go in a clockwise route around the room until they reach the starting point where you originally started the fight. Once you reach that one, they will then go backward the opposite way and go anti-clockwise back around. Whenever an ad spawns in, so it could be either a griffin or a sea adder, they alternate between which one spawns in. Move the boss away from the ad. This will stop the ads from enraging, and it makes it easier for your group if they're trying to play it safe and they want the clear to move the boss away to the next shaman location, and everyone focuses the ad. Just be careful because there is often the ice shield mechanic where the boss gets a shield which will explode after 16 seconds. So this usually happens after an ad spawns in, so you want to make sure your group focus down the shield on the boss and the ad before that explodes. The fire shamans will sometimes drop meteors onto you. You need to block the meteors, but you also need to be careful if you have the meteors along with a boss heavy attack or a cleave. The best thing to do is to play whichever mechanic comes first. So if the main boss attacks come first, you play those, dodge roll the heavy or the cleave, then block the meteor. If you're unsure or you play on console, you're probably best off just trying to take the boss heavy attack or the cleave rather than risking taking an unblocked attack if you get hit by the meteor mid dodge roll or at the end of a dodge roll when you've got your block dropped. You could end up taking the boss heavy attack unblocked, which is a guaranteed death. You also don't want to dodge roll towards the group because you could get hit by other people's meteors. Dodging towards the group is not a good idea because you might get hit by somebody else's meteor, and then you'll also get stunned and you open yourself up to being killed. Once you hit 50% on the main boss, you'll no longer get any more griffins or sea adders, but the boss will now be enraged and begin to strike you with a shatter attack. This means you start to take a lot more damage. If you have an off tank, they could guard you, or a healer could guard you during this phase if you need it. During this phase, you don't want to drop block for any light attacks, and you want to definitely try and avoid the heavy and the cleave attack at all costs, because now you will be taking a lot more damage from those attacks. You want to keep moving the boss around to the shamans, and you only want to do this when the boss is doing its final mechanic, which is the jump mechanic. So around about every 20 to 30 seconds, the boss will jump into the air. During this time, you want to move to where the next shaman location is going to spawn, and you want to get ready to bring him in to that area, ready for the shamans. When you are transitioning between the fire shamans to the next location, the main boss will always try to chain you back, and so when you outrange the main boss, he'll try to chain you. You got to make sure you're blocking that attack. If you don't block it, it does a lot of damage, and it also chains you back in. During the execute phase from 50% and less, it will actually kill you because the main boss is enraged and you have the shatter mechanic. You always want to have the main boss positioned in front of the shaman group side, so the group are focusing the main boss and cleaving the shaman that's directly behind it. You want to hold the boss as still as possible if you're not moving him, so you can get him killed as quickly as possible. If the boss jumps in the air near to you and you're staying in the same location, you might want to take 2 steps forward because the boss will land straight on top of you, and sometimes this means you get pushed further and further back. This is a really bad thing if you're close to a wall, because if you get pushed really close to the wall and you can no longer turn the boss away from the group fully, you could cause other people to die. So it's a good idea to take 2 steps away from where you were originally standing and then circle back around the boss while holding block, and just make sure you reposition it that way. From 10%, just hold the boss still. Don't worry about the shamans anymore, and just get your group to kill the boss. And that is boss 1, Yandir the Butcher hard mode.